Hey everybody, it's Jen. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm sharing with you my 5 top reasons why Disneyland is better than Walt Disney World. And I'm really glad that you're here. Okay, so before I get into the bulk of the video today, we need to announce our winner. We ran a giveaway for 20,000 subscribers, and I will put a big banner with the name of the winner right here, and I will also put it down in the description box below. So congratulations to our winner. Hopefully by now I have already reached out to you and your prize of those beautiful BB Brook ears is on its way to your house. So congratulations and thank you everybody for entering to win. Okay, so before you freak out and get mad at me, yes, I still love Walt Disney World. And the truth is, I probably could have done this exact same video, but instead said why Disney World is better. So both parks are very different experiences. In a lot of ways, they are so different. And I want to share today the reasons why I think Disneyland is better. You may not agree with all of this. In fact, I know for a fact a lot of you aren't going to agree with me. But I grew up going to Disneyland. I was born in Southern California. I've literally been going to Disneyland for over 50 years. My first visit there was when I was just an infant, but it just has a lot of great, sweet memories for me. But also, not only the sentimental factor, but it also has a lot going for it. And if you're someone that's only ever gone to Disney World and you've not really considered going to Disneyland, I'm going to give you reasons why you really should probably make a trip there as soon as possible. So we're going to start with number 5 and go to number 1, kind of like David Letterman, because the number 1 reason is super important, and I want to make sure you stick around to the end of the video to hear the number 1 reason. So we're going to start with number 5, which is that I truly feel the weather is better. You guys, you know I love Florida, but the weather sometimes is just awful, and the heat and humidity can really get to you, especially in the spring and summer and early fall. So in my view, really May through October, Disney World can be just kind of yucky. Disneyland, however, if you go and look at the high temperatures, yes, it can get hot in the summer, but the humidity is never anywhere near what it is in Florida. And even when it gets really hot during the day, you usually have those cooler mornings, cooler evenings. You're taking a sweatshirt because you're going to need it even in July. And it's just more enjoyable to be outside, especially in the middle of the day. I have found that I have a lot more like park stamina at Disneyland than I do at Walt Disney World. And there's another reason for that I'm going to get to in a minute, but the weather is definitely a contributing factor. So if you're a person that's really affected by the heat, you really might think about Disneyland instead of Walt Disney World for your next vacation. The number 4 reason I like it better is I feel like it's just easier to plan. Walt Disney World can feel so overwhelming. Even now with no Fast Pass, there's just a lot going on. There are 4 theme parks. It's a lot to think about. Whenever I have friends who have young kids who will ask me, should our first experience with the kids be Disney World or Disneyland, I almost always say Disneyland. It's just a lot less overwhelming for the kids. It's a lot less overwhelming for mom and dad. I feel like you have a lot better shot at really being able to see it all. Whereas Walt Disney World, even if you were there 2 weeks, you're unlikely to be able to even scratch the surface. Where Disneyland, if you can go for 3 or 4 days, you really will be able to see most of the attractions and really get a good feel for the entire resort area. Now, Disneyland only has the 2 theme parks, Disneyland Park, which is the equivalency of Magic Kingdom in Florida, and then California Adventure. And they are both very close together, like absurdly close together. If you look at the footprint of just the space that Disneyland takes up, it's so much smaller than what you've got in Florida. Everything is extremely walkable. And that brings me to my number 3 reason why Disneyland is better than Walt Disney World, and that is less walking. Walt Disney World is the amount of walking you have to do even before you get to a theme park. Now I realize that the trams are down right now at Disneyland, so a lot of locals are complaining about the walk from the parking garage. But if you're staying either at the Disneyland on property hotels or at any of the Good Neighbor hotels, nothing is more than a 15-minute walk away from anything else. Like, think about that for a minute. Nothing is more than a 15-minute walk away from anything else. It's almost, until you actually go, you almost can't imagine the fact that you can walk in and you can turn left and go to California Adventure, or turn right and go to Disneyland Park. And the two parks are just across an esplanade from one another. I'm gonna stand in the middle of the plaza, and then I'll show you guys how close. When I told you how close Disneyland and California Adventure were to each other, hang on, I'm gonna show you what I meant. Okay, Disneyland, Downtown Disney, California Adventure. For those of you in the back row, California Adventure, Downtown Disney, Disneyland. And guess where we're going? We're going to Disneyland. And look, the train is there. Now you do still have to go through, you know, the ticket gates, but security is in one central location. So once you've passed through security, you can go back and forth between the two parks super easily. It's why I always recommend a park hopper when you go to Disneyland Resort in Anaheim. Much, much easier to navigate. If it's your first time at Walt Disney World, I honestly don't think a park hopper is necessary. But in California, everything is just so close together. To me, there's no reason to not spend the extra money, and you really will have a beautiful day being able to go back and forth between the parks. And then Disneyland Park itself is so much tinier. Like, you just walk so much less, and especially if you're traveling with little ones, if you're traveling maybe with older people, I think it's just so much of a better way to go. And I find myself way less exhausted when we go to Disneyland than I am at Walt Disney World. Now, some people love that about Walt Disney World. They love the grandness and scale of everything. People will talk about the big castle as opposed to the little castle. I happen to love the little castle. I think it's beautiful and petite, and I've explained Disneyland to people as, consider it like this little jewel box. You've got so many historical details. It was the park that Walt opened. It was the only park that Walt was actually in, and you just feel his influence and that nostalgia and that history in a way that I do not think you feel at Walt Disney World. Okay, the number two thing that I think is why you have to go to Disneyland and why it's better than Disney World is FANTASMIC. Now, I know you're thinking, but Jen, don't they have FANTASMIC at Walt Disney World? They do, but in my view, it is not the real FANTASMIC. The real FANTASMIC happens with the Columbia pirate ship and actual boats and actual pirates. I mean, they're not, well, maybe, yes, they're friends of actual pirates. The production value of the one that happens outside of New Orleans Square at Disneyland, until you see it in person, you can't really imagine it. My friend Allison, who now it seems crazy to me because she goes to Disneyland all the time, she actually saw FANTASMIC at Disneyland for the first time with me, and I'm going to shoot now to a clip of the two of us watching it together. What did you think of FANTASMIC at Disneyland?
That wasn't even the same show.
She said, before we started, she was like, well, what's different about it? And I'm like, oh, a few things are different. So good. It's so good.
The nightmare scene was incredible.
It's incredible.
It was incredible.
Yeah. So you guys really do yourself a huge favor. Fly to Anaheim. Yeah, so Allison's reaction is pretty much everyone's reaction who's seen it at Walt Disney World and then goes and sees it at Disneyland. It's just on another level. It's a much more intimate experience because you're so much closer to the action than you are in Walt Disney World. And yes, I realize that it's actually not running in either park right now, but it will be soon. And it just is one of those unique to Disneyland experiences that I think is not to be missed and really is why Disneyland is better. The number one reason why Disneyland is better than Walt Disney World is really why this video is going up today. I was born on July 17th, which is also the day that Disneyland opened. Now, not the same year. I'm not as old as Disneyland. But the entire time I was growing up, I had such a special connection to Disneyland because my birthday was July 17th. Oh, by the way, there's going to be a bonus reason in just a second, so stick around to the end of the video. Sharing my birthday with Disneyland, I feel like kind of set the stage for the fact that I was going to be a lifelong Disney fan, that my kids were going to be lifelong Disney fans. My kids' first Disney park was Disneyland, and they fell in love with it the same way that I did. I will never forget their first trip there. And it's just a place that holds so many amazing memories for me. And I just can't imagine a world where there isn't a Disneyland. So if you're thinking about where you want to go, should it be Florida or should it be California? And one is not, geographically, maybe that's being determined for you. But I think every true Disney fan needs to experience Disneyland at some point in their lives. It is a beautiful, well-landscaped, the cast members are lovely. I think the food is better. And here's the bonus thing that's better at Disneyland: the churros. If you've never had a Disneyland churro, you don't know what churros are supposed to taste like. I'm going to tell you right now, the churros at Walt Disney World are not good. They're hard. They're just not right. I don't know what they do to them in Florida, but it ain't right. So the churros you want are the churros at Disneyland. I don't know what it is. That's all I have for today. I hope you've enjoyed the clips of Disneyland that I interspersed into this video. If you want to go watch my full playlist with all of my videos from Disneyland, I will put a link to that down in the description box. Speaking of the description box, that's also where you can find out how to join me on Patreon, how you can support the channel, and please don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. Whatever you're doing today, I hope you're being really good to each other, and I'll talk to you very soon. Bye-bye.
But I'll be coming home soon. Yeah, I'll be coming home soon. So take me out to California, where the sun is always high, where the streets are paved with gold.